Meher Baba said, "I will bring all religions together like beads on a string." And this made me wonder whether the nature religions are included in that, because they are the most oldest religions of the world, at least as far as we know. And they are related to plants and plant medicine. And it could be easy to say that it's paganism or that it's heathen. So I looked that up on Google. Pagan comes from a Latin word called paganus, meaning villager, rustic, civilian, and itself comes from a pagus, which refers to a small unit of land in a rural district. It was a demeaning Latin term, like the word hic, that originally lacked a religious significance. So it was like villagers or country folk. The well-being of these people depended on their knowledge of the plants. And how would they find out about the plants? They could only find out about the plants by looking for spirit intuition and spirit contact or plant teaching. And that is what I have tried to learn myself. But at times I feel a conflict with my Christian background, as if there is a problem with the idea of paganism. So that's what I'm trying to address in this video. Now I want to read an introduction that I wrote to a book that I made. It's not been fully published. It's called Ghost Stories, Case Histories of an Ayahuasca Therapist. And this adds into this conversation. Dear reader, people seem to think that what we see is real and what we don't see does not exist. Science has proven this to be untrue, and many things that our senses don't perceive still have an effect on the world around us, and on ourselves also. Infrared, ultraviolet, gamma rays, microwaves, radio waves, and dog whistles are just a few examples. With the appropriate tools, these frequencies can be detected and used to our advantage or disadvantage. I found that I had some ability to perceive these other realities and managed to bring healing to people who came to me by talking with the spirits that I sensed were causing their problems. I found that death does not necessarily make people rest in peace, and some continued their unhappy state well after death. By counseling them, these spirits were able to move on and allow the relatives or other targets to go on with their life in peace. Not only did I find that I could counsel the dead, but I also found out that I was very, very sensitive to all sorts of subtle things, subtle energies. So from the dead people we go over to spirits that are connected to the plants, and that the plants have what they call here a madre, a mother, or a being, a spirit, a fairy that lives with the plants, or that speaks for the plant, or that is actually the soul of the plant. C.S. Lewis in his Narnia stories talks about all these forest spirits and water spirits that we also still have in the English language. In the past, when people didn't have access to a chemist or a doctor, they would call on medicine workers, which was shamans, soothsayers, oracles, druids, that would do sacrifices for good fortune, or that would call on certain spirits or at certain configurations of the stars, where they would be doing propitious ceremonies to help people with good luck for their venture in the future. But in the Middle Ages, when the Roman Catholic Church got together with the heads of state and they became a powerful juncture, they started to realize that these soothsayers, midwives, fairy followers and channelers were actually a threat to their authority. So the persecution started, followed by a big inquisition that killed many people and imprisoned many people, made them, tortured them, burning witches. It became really, really horrible. To legitimize their actions, they demonized the pagans, and they demonized the fairies, and they called them demons. So anyone who was found conversing or using plant spirits or working with plant spirits was deemed to be a witch and was evil, declared evil because they were working with demons. Well, these were the healers that the people, the normal people, the country people had, and so the country people were left without their healers after they were cleansed and burnt and taken away. This happened not just once, it happened many times. And also in Salem, when they burnt the witches, they actually wanted the land that those people were on. So they just got rid of it in that way. We should always look at the reasons why this is being done, this cruelty. It's certainly not Christian love. It is certainly not wishing their well-being. It is often connected with a form of genocide or eradicating people that are standing in their way of their wish to control an area of land or a certain group of people. At the same time, there was a good side to Christly love that people were learning from the Christians, and this had to do with, for instance, in South America, where the brujos were actually pretty strong and people were being killed and attacked by brujos when other people wanted that to happen. So in a way that changed. It became a good mix in some ways, but they almost lost their culture. So there was a renaissance of the medicine plants, and many groups started to work with these shamans, and also many foreigners learned to do the shamanism themselves and started setting up their own centers to do helping people with things that they had lost in their own culture and that they found themselves completely bankrupt in. Many Peruvians don't actually go and take medicine plants if they're unwell. They'd rather go and look for pills. So it's a curious thing. So they're moving more towards the Western picture. And the Western people come here to find the original shamanism and work with that. So it's a bit of a fusion and it's a bit of a renaissance. I myself was called by the plant spirits while I was still in Australia. And I started channeling some spirits from South America, from Lemuria, and also from ayahuasca. So that is a story I've already told a few times, and we'll leave that for another video. Okay, thank you for watching. All the best.